which stands of God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So be it. Has the notice of this meeting been posted?
I certify that it has been posted in accordance with the law.
We're going to deviate a little bit tonight. It's 2 for night. What does that mean? Well, we're going to have 2 meetings. The first meeting is a public hearing on the tax rate, which we have to do by law. So we're going to conduct that hearing, and then we're going to go into our regular board meeting. So it's 2 for night. Everybody should be happy. So with that said, at 5:01, I convened a tax rate public hearing for tax year 2023. Is there any public comment?
Chair Stillman, no public comment.
So the presentation of the fiscal year 23-24 proposed tax rate, Ms. Mott.
Thank you. Good evening. Oh. I don't want to. Do we know where my slides are? Here we go. Okay. Oop. There we go. Thank you. Yes, so I quickly wanted to run through what the proposal is here tonight for this hearing. The proposed tax rate for its fiscal year 2024, tax year 2023. So it's appraised values as of January 1, 2023 that this tax rate would be applied to. The proposal is M&O is maintenance and operations rate of 7.32 cents. This is the primary rate that funds our general operating fund and is about 50% of the revenues that operates this college. The other portion of the rate, INS, that is interest in sinking fund, which is our debt service. So that is proposed to be 3.44 cents. That goes directly into a debt service fund reserved for payments against general obligation debt. The combined total of these 2 rates is the 10.76 cents, which you can see from last year's rate. This is a reduction in Lone Star College's tax rate from 10.78 cents to 10.76. I wanted to share here about a 15-year history of the tax rates. We are in blue at the bottom with the state average in red, and we are proud that we work hard to keep our tax rate low. And as you can see, we've been well below the state average for this 15-year period. We have been at the 10.78 cents for several years now, since 2017. And then here in fiscal year 24, again, proposing to lower that rate to 10.76. Just some quick highlights on this rate. So we did receive the certified values on August 29th. And so from that, we had the no new revenue rate and the voter approval rate posted on the Lone Star College homepage on Thursday, September 14th. This was required by law. And we had the board meeting to propose the tax rate held on September 19th. From there, we had the public hearing notice was posted on our website and published in newspapers on Thursday, September 28th, 2023. And here tonight is the public hearing for this process. And then at the regular meeting for there to be a vote on this proposed rate. Again, this is lowering the rate to 10.76 cents, but included in that too is a change in our homestead exemption rate. So the board adopted this this past June. So this is already in effect. We raised our homestead exemption from 1% to 8% of appraised value. So that is already baked into this proposed tax rate. So we would really be doing both, increasing the homestead exemption to 8% and lowering the overall rate to 10.76 cents. The other thing that this proposal will allow us to do in fiscal year 2024 is pay off about 30.25 million of our debt early, and that should generate an estimated 9.7 million in savings in future interest, what would have been future interest payments. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
You're right. So the announcement is the date, time, and place of the meeting at which the board will vote on the proposed tax rate. The date is Thursday, October the 5th, 2023. That's today. We're going to do it at 5 p.m., which is going to be a little later than 5, but we're going to vote. And the place is here, LSC System Office, The Woodlands, Boardroom, 5000 Research Forest Drive, The Woodlands, Texas, 77381. With that, I adjourn the tax rate public hearing. Thank you. I now convene the regular board meeting at 5:06 of the Lone Star College Board of Trustees. Is there any public comment?
Chair Stoma, there is one public comment, Ms. Williams.
Ms. Williams, please step to the podium.
Hello, my name is Lisa Williams, and I am a student at Lone Star College Montgomery. And today I've prepared a board meeting speech. I'll start now. As a mother of 2 small children returning to college to pursue my dream at the Montgomery campus, I have encountered barriers, complications, and poor communication that threaten my ability to succeed. Barriers. Removal of the bookstore results in a lack of supplies and student spirit material. Complications. I pay $1,800 monthly for my 2 little boys' preschool tuition, which could have gone to fund the daycare program. It is hard to get supplies by being forced to depend on a delivery system. This will affect school funding because there will be lost revenue from bookstore sales of supplies and memorabilia. Poor communication. Dropping the daycare was not announced, leaving me with having to make a choice: drop out of my enrolled classes or scramble to get my children enrolled elsewhere within 14 days notice of finding out on my own because faculty were all misinformed. The bookstore closure was not announced and closed before the virtual bookstore was available. This is the first semester, and there are late start classes for new students and new faculty. A student casually mentioned that there would be free blue books in the library, but I would not have known unless someone told me. My instructors do not even have enough information about these barriers to help me. They have no clue, and that is scary. The teachers and professors are worried about the qualitative approach to education, while it appears that the administration is always focused on quantitative values. The Woodlands community supports this school. The suggesting that funding was not available for these programs does not make any sense in accounting. I represent a segment of the population that your mission and values are intended to serve. Yet the removal of these services is a message to me that you do not wish to have me as a student. This is my dream, and I intend to pursue it until I achieve it. And I would hope that this institution would want to be a part of that dream. And thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor, do you have any introductions, special guests, recognitions?
I do, all of the above. Let's start with introductions. Dr. Friday, will you please come up here? So this is Dr. Virginia Friday. She started this past Monday. She is the new president at Lone Star College University Park. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, and didn't mean to put you on the spot, but here you are.
Pleasure to do, Chancellor. Good evening, and good evening, guests and colleagues. I'm Virginia Friday, and I have the great honor of serving as the next president of Lone Star College University Park. I began my career and my college education in community college. So this work is personal and I am delighted to be joining such an extraordinary team at college and system. I have almost 3 decades of experience in higher education and have come to really admire the work that has been done by Lone Star, not only here in the region, but across the nation. My aspiration is to continue to support the good work that is taking place here already and to support building a more connected and stronger community through education. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
And I do have a recognition. So the board may recall that we just had our 10-year reaffirmation and there was 0 findings, which is a significant achievement. And I wanted to sort of highlight another honor that has been bestowed upon Lone Star in that same realm. Lone Star College, with 9 other institutions, was selected this year as a model institution by SAC-COC for our quality substantive change report. So they have 1,200 members and they selected 9, which means that Lone Star is in the top 1% when it comes to SAC-COC compliance. And I want to specifically recognize Dr. Smith, Dr. Wilson, Dr. Roberts, and Ms. Simon. I think all of you are here. Can you please stand and be recognized, please? And so again, one of the questions that I worried about was when I applied to be chancellor is SAC-COC knowledge, because it's not the branch that I came up through. And the board will remember that I said that if there's one area that we don't have to worry about because we have people internally that are super on top of it, it's SAC-COC compliance, and they have supported that. And we're very lucky to have everyone on the team. Jeff and Michelle, I'm reading here, we're also invited to present at the annual meeting in December. So we are literally leading the way in a very objective way. And I'm so grateful to have you all on the team. Thank you. And that's it, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we go for the approval of the minutes of the September 7th, 2023 regular meeting and the September 19th, 2023 special meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And the item passes. Chancellor, do you have any special reports? Well, I think did we already do that? Is that a redundant thing? Actually, you already done that. No. Any other special reports?
I do actually.
Go ahead.
I've been everywhere, literally. So I'm not going to list everywhere that I've been. I'm just going to say this. I have visited all 23 locations of Lone Star College over the last month. And so I've gone to every single location. I am been so grateful for the things that we do. I got to meet so many great faculty members. I was telling someone earlier, there's so many heartwarming stories of how far our faculty go to meet students where they are, everything from providing welding shields to them, to cutting up different things, to clothing them in some cases. And it was just been really remarkable, the many things that our faculty and staff do for our students that, but for sort of going out and meeting them where they were, I would not even know is happening. So it was very touching in that regard. We also said see you later to Dr. Blanson on September 13th. We had his retirement reception. It was very well attended. It was nice to say hello and goodbye to him. We also had the Cypher 20th year celebration on the same day, actually. So it was a double decker that day, a twofer as well. We had a conversation with the chancellor at North Harris on September 18th. And then we also welcomed Dr. Lambert, who had a great showing on September 26th as the new president of North Harris. And so I want you to save these dates for me. Dr. Reedhart, her reception is October 30th at 2 p.m. And we're going to send invitations, but just October 30th at 2 p.m. is Dr. Reedhart's reception. And then Dr. Virginia Freire, her reception is November 7th, also at 2 p.m. And that will obviously be at UP. And the last update that I have is we did send a delegation to Austin on Tuesday to meet with the coordinating board to really sort of further the work that we're doing with HB8. Internally at Lone Star College, the CFO, Jennifer Mott, is in charge of that. And so she and a bunch of administrators went down there to sort of ask some really pointed and specific questions. And I've met with Commissioner Killer myself, and I can tell you that we are very much leading the way for the entire state and how we're going to build these things out. They're asking us questions about how we're going to build these dashboards and how the data is. And we're just asking questions that other people haven't even gotten to the point yet where they know to ask those questions. So we are well ahead of the curve on HBA, and I wanted the board to know that we are super on top of that. And that's it for me, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have a new agenda item, which will be reoccurring, and that's for the presidents to present. Dr. Leanne Nutt, President Tomball, will be our first presenter. And let me say, we're doing this because we want to hear from the presidents and what's going on at the campuses. We certainly want to hear what you celebrate and your, what you're doing right. We also want to hear your challenges. And having said that, though, we're going to trust that you've vetted those challenges with the chancellor before you bring them here. So we're all in transparency. We're all on the same page. But I think the board needs to hear what you're up against out there. Because it's the only way we can know, because we're not there. So that's the purpose here. And we certainly appreciate all of you and all of you taking the time to do this. Dr. Nutt, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Stoma, members of the board and Chancellor for bringing this item back to the agenda. And it's my privilege to be the first presenter. And my goal tonight is to set a platform, a foundation upon which future presentations from our president's group can be built. And so the focus tonight is one team and one LSC, because that is foundational to the future of Lone Star College. And I want to share with you the many ways that this team has come together in a very short amount of time. Am I clicking? I'm clicking. Hello. Oh, I clicked too much. Culture shift towards one LSC. One LSC is a board policy. You're very familiar with it. One LSC is also a cultural belief under our LSC focus program. But one LSC is also a desired state of being. It's bigger than a policy. It's bigger than a belief. It is how we are. It's in our DNA. And this culture shift with one LSC, where everyone is truly contributing to a cause bigger than ourselves, is what is truly going to allow Lone Star College to achieve this state of being in one LSC. One LSC to me is synonymous with the concept of collective impact. Each of the 8 campuses and our system office can have impact individually. When we are collectively impacting our students and our communities, and we're all pulling in the same direction with the same goals in a collaborative, collective manner, Lone Star College will be and continue to set the standard for a reimagined community college movement in the United States. With our physical resources, our exceptional human talent, and a state of being as one LSC, we will be that premier institution for years to come. Key to that is organizational health. One of my favorite books, The Advantage. When an organization is healthy, when it is whole, consistent, complete, everything fits together, that is the advantage. And that is where Lone Star College is heading. There are 4 disciplines to build organizational health, and I've highlighted the first discipline, and that is build a cohesive leadership team. And under Chancellor Castillo's leadership, we are experiencing and being trained as a cohesive leadership team. While this agenda item is listed as a president's report, and while the physical layout of this room has the presidents on one side and the vice chancellors on the other, that is just a function of the room. more so than ever. And I am presenting tonight on behalf of the presidents and also the vice chancellors as one cohesive leadership team. Without that cohesion, dysfunction in a team can appear. Lack of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of team accountability, and inattention to our own objectives. We are learning how to say, I don't agree with this. Let me give you my feedback. We are asking, tell me what you are seeing. What's your perspective? We are learning and training. It feels like we've been working out all month to learn how to avoid the dysfunctions of a team. Practically speaking, form and function, the way we meet has changed. We're meeting twice a week, Monday, Wednesday, 10 to 11, Fridays if needed. We're meeting once a month face-to-face. Each meeting has clear purpose, intentionality, and it's consistent. We're communicating in WebEx. We have WebEx spaces where we're able to all get information at the same time, ask questions, support each other, provide information, and we're encouraged to dissent. Collaboration, weather closure, what an odd topic to put up here, but it has been one of the first topics of how we handle a weather closure scenario across our system that we are collaborating on to establish the standards and protocols that need to be put in place. Other items that will be coming forward are something like our teaching load. The presidents have been enabled and empowered to take a look at that. For the summer, we're also working on teen habits agreements. Accountability, we're being held accountable, but we're empowered and we're responsible to own our contributions to Lone Star College. I promise you, and I stand before you tonight, that we are one team for one LSC. We're going to have to take another selfie to get Virginia and Melissa and some others in there, but this was a photo from our very first face-to-face Chancellor's Cabinet meeting and found it a very appropriate symbol of how one team and one LSC is manifesting. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just wanted to say thank you for this message. It's a message that needs to be heard. And Dr. Nutt, if you would get a copy of this to John Guest. John, could you distribute this presentation to the trustees, please, sir?
Yes, sir, will do.
So we have a record, and let's just make that a habit. So we can have this and look back on it. If we have any other questions, we can ask those as we need.
Okay,
So thank you.
thank you.
Other employee groups, American Federation of Teachers.
Good evening, board members. I am Dr. John Bergduff, President of the American Federation of Teachers at Lone Star College, the employee union here at Lone Star. I want to begin this evening by adding our welcome to Dr. Virginia Freire. We are just so pleased to have you on board at University Park, and we look forward to working with you and your employees as well. Tonight, I also want to announce that the AFT has just launched a new survey of Lone Star College employees. This survey follows up on the survey we conducted about this time last year. We sent the survey out for the first time about a week ago to all employees, and we will send out a number of reminders with the target date of having all responses in by the end of this month. All Lone Star employees are invited to participate, whether they are faculty, staff, or administrators, all the way up to Chancellor Castillo, and whether they are full-time or part-time employees. This survey is a follow-up to a survey we conducted about this time a year ago, like I said, and that survey garnered about 1,100 responses. We have almost 200 responses in the first week of this year's survey, with the goal of matching or exceeding last year's participation rate by the end of October. Last year's survey focused largely on respect in the workplace. This year, we wanted to delve a little deeper, and so we are asking all employees specifically what respect looks like to them. We are suggesting some possible tangible indicators of respect and asking employees which ones of them matter and which ones perhaps really don't matter. We include options like pay, benefits, flexible work options, opportunities to socialize with colleagues, transparency in college policies, shared governance, open communication with supervisors, assurances that concerns are taken seriously, and opportunities for advancement. We also give space for employees to elaborate on possible other criteria that matter to them. In other questions, we ask employees to reflect on their relationships with their supervisors and with college and system administration. We ask employees to comment on possible internal and external challenges the college may face that concern them. And those challenges could include threats to diversity regarding either employees or students, political unrest finding its way on campus, mental health issues, both among students and employees being able to make a living wage, and maxing out their salary growth potential. For staff employees, we explore interest in flexible work opportunities and how that would look for them personally. For faculty, we are asking about possible workload changes that would help them to be more successful. So far, the results are very interesting. Once we have all the responses in and we get them organized, we will share them first with Chancellor Castillo and then with all of you on the board. It may be difficult to have that information ready for you at the November meeting, but we will be able to do so in December. As a bit of a teaser, I'd like to share with you an obvious trend we're seeing so far on one question. We finish our survey with a very open-ended question that simply asks all employees to describe what constitutes a good day at work for them. Most of the answers have the same theme across all categories of employees. A good day at work is devoting full attention to serving students in whatever capacity the employee works, with minimum interruptions for lesser priorities, and with the chance to enjoy some time with colleagues. That sounds like a good day to me too. It testifies to Lone Star College employees' commitment to students, and I think helping employees have good days like that is an achievable goal. We look forward to looking at more results as they come in and reporting back to you later this fall. We hope that these results will be useful to the administration, to the board, to the union, and to all of us as we continue to make Lone Star the college of choice for students and a great place to work for employees. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Dr. Bergdorf. Board members, any board members have anything to report? Trustee Kane?
I had the pleasure of attending the reception for Dr. Lambert, North Harris. It was really interesting to hear about your early life, all the places you've been, the things that you've done. It was great that there were so many people present who commented after you spoke for a few minutes and welcomed you in so many different ways. And I was particularly interested in hearing about, was it Big Mama? Hearing about Big Mama that got you to Baylor. And then once you were there as a walk-on for the football team. And I can only imagine what it was like to be tackled by Mike Singletary and lose your helmet in the process. Were you unconscious as well? But seriously, it was such a nice event, and there were so many positive things that came from that event. And it was just a real pleasure to be there. So delighted for you. And it was just one of those. It was one of those moments, I think, within that room that was very, very special.
Thank you. Any other comments from trustees? All righty. Any of the committee chairs want to make any reports? All right, then we'll move forward to the consent agenda. Items 2 and 3 will be pulled for further discussions. These are the items that will approve our tax cuts. So we'll consider those separately. Are there any other items to be pulled for discussion? Okay. Then may I have a motion to approve items 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All items passed. So let's go to item 2. I, Chair Stoma, move that the maintenance and operations portion of the property tax rate be increased by adoption of a tax rate of 0.0732 cents per 100 assessed valuation, which is effective a 7.9% increase in the tax rate. This year's tax rate is higher than the no new tax revenue, M&O, tax rate. However, this rate is lower than the FY 2023 M&O tax rate and will contribute additional revenue due to the increase in property values. Do I have a second to approve this motion?
Second.
Second.
And we're gonna have to do a roll call on this one, folks. Bear with me a sec. So, trustee Kane,
Yes.
trustee Saldivar,
Yes.
trustee Vogt,
Yes.
trustee Pierce,
Yes.
trustee Wilson,
Yes.
trustee Mario,
Yes.
and I, trustee Stoma, yes. So I believe the motion passes. That's good. Everybody should be jumping up and down on that one. Let's see. We've got item 3. I, Chair Stoma, move that the interest and sinking portion of the property tax rate be increased by the portion of a tax rate of 0.0344 cents per $100 assessed valuation, which is effectively a 21.13% increase in the tax rate. Together, the M&O and the INS rates will amount to the adoption of a total tax rate 0.1076 per $100 assessed evaluation, which is effectively an 11.85% increase in the tax rate. So we'll need also to do, I need a second motion.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna have to do another roll call vote. Trustee King,
Yes.
trustee Saldivar,
Yes.
trustee Vogt,
Yes.
trustee Pierce,
Yes.
trustee Wilson,
Yes.
trustee Mario,
Yes.
and myself, trustee Stoma, yes. So the item passes. That's great.
Chair, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
I just want to take the opportunity to thank Mrs. Mott and her team for all of the calculations that went into this. It's a very time-consuming procedure, and it was done very, very well. And when you consider that the tax rate was lowered and the exemption was raised, that's good for taxpayers, and it's good for Lone Star as well. So thank you very much for all your fine work.
Great. Any? Please stand, Treasury team. Any other comments? Financial report, Smart.
Yes, so I have for you tonight the financial statements for month ending August 31st, 2023. This is the 12th last month of fiscal year 2023. So tonight will be the last night of monthly financial reports for the prior fiscal year. Even though we have started fiscal year 2024, right? The financial reports always lag like a bit. So next month will be month one of reporting on fiscal year 2024. So here on fiscal year 2023, I'm still also not going to call this closing out though, because come December, I will have a longer presentation on the annual financial report. So everything presented here is just still based on a soft close. These are not the completed financial reports. So with that caveat, on the revenue side here, right, for the 12 months, we collected 100.3% of what was budgeted. So 423 million in actual revenues. So we did collect more revenues than what this board approved in the fiscal year 2023 budget. On the expenditure side, our expenditures was 364 million of actual spending, or 89.5% of the approved expenditure budget for fiscal year 2023. So obviously this is well below what had been adopted by the board for the fiscal year. Charts showing that basically the same idea, but more concrete numbers. You can see where our variances were on the revenue side. So that revenue side, that where we collected higher than what was budgeted, that total amount of additional revenues is 1.1 million. And you can see there, we were up on the tuition and fee side of 1.2 million. We were up on investment side, 7.6 million, right? I mean, inflation goes up, interest rates go up, so our investments in the pool accounts do generate more interest income. And then taxes, we did see those come in lower than what was budgeted. And a lot of that was throughout the year, I was reporting on some of those hearing protests. And refunds resulting from that, hitting that. But we still netted positive with all these different changes of the 1.1 million. This is on the expenditure side. So here you can see where a lot of the spending against budget, say, did not occur in this context. So for example, full-time staff came in 11.8 million lower than budgeted. That generally means vacancies. So you can see in total here, we spent 42 million less than what was budgeted. That does sound like a lot, but as I've mentioned, I do not have for you yet the annual financial report. So this does not yet reflect sort of any sort of net P&L, profit and loss, right? The revenues minus expenditures, because there's key items that do not get included in the budget that we have to include in the financial report. For example, depreciation, pension liability expense, other post-employment benefit expense, a lot of things that I can definitely describe in more detail come December. But that's where a lot of times around this time of year, we will be about a 42 million under the expenditure budget. And then we layer in these additional items that need to get booked. And past few years, we have still remained positive, somewhere between 5 and 20 million. I don't know yet where this year will end up, and that's where that final report comes in December. Finally, something I haven't brought up in a year, literally, I had to go check when I reported on this last, Hurricane Harvey reimbursements from FEMA. Yes, we are still trying to finish collecting these. It is a painstaking process, but I wanted to bring it back tonight because we did just receive, about a year ago, we had received 400,000, but just a few weeks ago, we got another 1.7 million. So with that amount, I thought it was a good time to bring this back as we continue to try to get every last bit of this. So here, total, since I haven't reported on this in a year, first under total received, we have 13 million that came from insurance funds. We had 13.1 that came from the state. And then it's 26.8 million total that we have received from FEMA. So in total, we have received about 53 million. The good news of that is that our Harvey expenses was 51.7 million. So we have received back, we have recouped more than what Hurricane Harvey cost us. Now, what are we doing with that excess amount? The answer there is we are doing the Kingwood mitigation project, right? We are working on that project now over at the Kingwood campus that would help not prevent future flooding, prevent the floodwaters actually getting into the campus, right? It's a barrier along the outside with different things that go up, taking a lot of inspiration from structural pieces that places like Texas Medical Center have put in place to try to keep floodwaters out of the buildings. So that's about a $12 million project. And so that's where these excess funds above what Harvey cost us is going towards that project. Now, at the end of the day, once we've completed that project and received everything in from FEMA, when the state gave us the 13.1 million, the college did tell the state we would pay back to them if, after all of that is said and done, we still had a net positive. So we will still be keeping our eye on this probably for years to come as we continue to collect a remaining 6.8 million roughly that we expect to estimated still to be reimbursed by FEMA, and then using excess funds towards, it's about a $12 to $14 million project at Kingwood for that mitigation. So that's my 1 year update on Hurricane Harvey expenses. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
No building and ground, say?
That is included in the booklet, so please ask me any questions if you would like to know about a particular project.
Any questions, comments? Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, go right ahead.
So I am a rookie and I made a rookie mistake. And now I have to atone for my sins. So I forgot to introduce, and no one reminded me, to my credit, I remembered myself, Executive Vice Chancellor Bridget Johnson of Operations. So no, Bridget, I have to treat everyone the same. So Dr. Friday is over here looking at me like she better have to come up there. So Executive Vice Chancellor Johnson, please come up here. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Good afternoon. It feels good to be back home. I think I mentioned that earlier. So I'm really happy to be back and serving Lone Star College in the capacity of EVC of operations. So I joined Lone Star in December of 2016. So I had a 6-year tenure, went away for a year, really realizing that this is the place to be and it's no place like Lone Star. So I'm happy to be back and here to serve students.
Well, we're happy to see you here. So welcome back, and I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot.
Oh, I'm sure we will be.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Board of Trustees, in accordance with section 551.001 of the Texas Government Code, will move into closed session under one or more of the following provisions of the Act. Section 551.071, 72, 74, 76. I have to say, we will not conduct any other business when we come back. We'll reconvene then shortly thereafter convene. So go out and enjoy your tax cut. So at 5:44, I